Do your job fast. Oh, and also right. Years ago I worked as a subcontractor testing groundwater wells. Fresh out of college I was just happy to get a job post-08 crash and was fairly naive about work, climate, workload expectations and work-life balance. I got hired on as a field technician for a subcontracting company that tested groundwater wells, servicing a wide range of environmental consulting firms, oil and gas, and state agencies. We typically ran solo, pumping wells, sampling, and shipping samples. Often the hours work could be grueling. As I try my best to follow standard operating procedures, my project managers consistently complain about my pace of work. I'm regularly running OT by a few hours each week, and they make it clear that they'd prefer I'd work fast enough to complete each day within 8 hours because, of course, you want to get home at a reasonable hour every day. They even go so far to give me a time limit per groundwater well that would ideally bring me home each day before OT. Except they don't account for big city traffic control that we set up if sampling in the street, groundwater well recharge rates varying seasonally, etc. At about 6 months of trying my best to fulfill their expectations, I realize the managers either want me to outright lie on my paperwork, skip my own lunch, or skip steps in the outlined workflow to achieve their goal of bringing me home on time each day. QMC. I continue to show up and start my day at 4:30 a.m. to beat traffic in the morning. But now I didn't do anything in a rush. I carefully followed every step outlined by our SOP. I take my full 30 minutes lunch break and bathroom breaks whenever I feel the need. I'd chop it up with auditors if they showed up on site. Basically, I did my job, did it correctly and without rush, which unfortunately for the company's payroll always had me sitting in rush hour traffic at the end of the day, logging in 12 14-hour days 5 days a week. My peak was 72 hours worked in 1 week. The company was in such desperate need of workers because of high turnover that they couldn't let me go. The project managers gave up on trying to push me to move fast, and as a single guy, I loved the cash machine I discovered. Come to find out, the company was abusive to a lot of my coworkers. I stayed for the year of experience, made good money, and quit. I moved on to bigger and better, but always treat any subs I work with to lunch. Correct, fast, cheap, pick 2. Groundwater testing is pretty damned important to get right. Thank you for not letting them steamroll you into rushing the job. Good for you for not falling for their BS. If your name is on the signature line, just do it right. Fast comes in time, if practical. I've worked in the service industry 15 years. Gotten pretty good at it and have finally found a place I'm well paid and well treated. Along the way I worked at a place that won a James Beard Award and was obviously highly regarded, but suspiciously was always hiring. I knew there had to be reasons for the turnover, but decided to roll the dice and try it. If your tables stayed too long on average, you would be scolded and written up for not moving people through fast enough. If your guests mentioned that they felt rushed at all, you would be scolded and written up for not providing an ideal guest experience. If you kept your head down and just accepted the first 2 types of impossible to avoid write-ups, you could keep your job a few months until you either made it to their list of desirables or you were fired eventually for too many write-ups. If you pointed out the nearly impossible standards and double-edged sword we had to dance with, you were written up for bad attitude, insubordination, and were not likely to last long. The worst part of this story? The reason I got fired was totally justifiable on the part of the restaurant and almost entirely my fault. We don't need to worry about you. You read the writing on the wall well. They push for faster then burn you for mistakes. Faster makes them more money. Yay. As a pharmacy tech, they wanted you to be lightning fast but perfectly accurate without skipping steps. You basically are expected to read illegible doctor-written prescriptions. Make sure the meds are correct, the dose, the strength, the duration, etc. Because doctors make mistakes too. Get that filled and out ASAP and update the customer's file. Most stressful job I've ever had and will never go back. More like malicious non-compliance, but I like the style anyway. XD. I don't really see where the malicious compliance is though. It sounds like you were doing your job with a little OT. Then they told you to do your job by a certain time. So you started doing your job in a way that caused a lot of OT. Then they just had to keep you cause they couldn't find people, I guess? Malicious. Yes. But not sure what direct order you're really complying to. Management had a target of 100% FTF on computer calls. FTF equals first time fix. But one of the measurements we also tracked was DOA parts. Parts which arrive dead on arrival because of damage in shipment, faulty construction, etc. Kept trying to explain to management that 1. It's not the technician's fault that the replacement part doesn't work, so any cases involving DOA parts shouldn't be counted against the tech. 2. Techs can't possibly carry around every part. Their vans wouldn't hold all the parts which could possibly be needed, and even if they did, we'd be tying up hundreds of millions of dollars in parts. Management. We don't care. Just rank people by FTF numbers.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.